11 here says we need to subtract. Big difference now. We notice we have a common denominator, which is huge. Now please watch this. This is the biggest part that most students are going to mess up on this problem. Look right here. That negative has got to be distributed through. So you got to think about this as parentheses. And the negative has to go through to there, to the negative 14. So the numerator is going to be 4x minus 1. And most students will have the minus x, but then you'll have minus 14, and it's really supposed to be plus 14. Denominator, 2x plus 5. So when you combine like terms on the top, 4x minus x is going to be the 3x. Negative 1, positive 14 is a plus 13, all over 2x plus 5. All right, final answer, there's nothing you can cancel off. So we're going to move on to the back page here and hopefully get better at these concepts. Again, we're adding here, need a common denominator. Well, the denominator that 3 and 12, the number that they both go into, is 12. So I don't need to multiply this by anything. I need to multiply this here by 4 over 4. Now, between the variables, we don't want the smallest amount, we want the largest amount, because we want them both to be the same. So actually I have to multiply this by x over x as well. So the top left is going to be 8x, and then the denominator here would be 12x cubed, and then we're going to have plus, don't need to do anything here. The 12x cubed is already set, so 10 over 12x cubed. So then when we put these together, since we now have a common denominator, now we have it, it's one numerator, 8x plus 10, over just the denominator, which is 12x cubed. Well, what is that? Almost done, but we should try to take a GCF out at the very end. So 8 and 10, we can take a 2 out of both of those, and that becomes 2 times 4x plus 5. And the denominator here is 12x cubed. And since these are both monomials, you can take a 1 and a 6 in reduced form. So this is, I'm running out of room, but this is going to be 4x plus 5 over 6x cubed. Okay, sorry. I had a student asking me a question, so that's what we have there. So now this next one, number 13, and nothing can cancel at this point on this last one, remember. Okay, and this one right here, simplify. All right, so this one looks like it can be a nightmare, but remember, okay, that division, this division right here, is the same as if it were written as the symbol divide. So if I had this top one divided by the bottom one, we could multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to do that. 3x to the 4th y cubed over 5z to the 4th. And I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of the bottom one. So that's going to be 15z over 6x squared y to the 5th. And now I'm into the multiplication problems that I'm more comfy with. So looking here, what could I simplify? Well, there's lots of things, but follow your crossing out very carefully. This would become a 3. This would become a 1. Looking at the z's, they have a 1 here and 4 here, so there's really 3 left on the bottom. Looking at the 3 and the 6, we can cancel this 3, make it a 1. Cancel this 6, make it a 2. 4x is here, 2x is here, so there's really an x squared on top. Y cubed, gonna make a 1, y to the 5th, gonna make a y squared. So this is what I mean, we gotta be really careful as we go across the top. But going across the top now, what do we have? We've got an x squared left over here, just a 1 there, a 3 there. So really, what is all of that? That's just 3x squared all over. And if you look at the bottom, you can see these a little bit more clearly here. This one, and this one. We're going to have 2y squared and z cubed. So final answer, nothing else to cancel off there. All right, solve. You gotta like these ones a lot better, number 14 and 15, because when we're solving these, all we gotta do is have a common denominator. So we're gonna look for a common denominator. That's t. T is pretty clear. This is really over 1. So we're gonna multiply all parts by the LCD. So when it's equal and we're solving, multiply all parts by the LCD. If I multiply this by t, that middle one by t, and this left one by t, what we'll see is these t's actually cancel. These t's cancel. So that's how we teach that one. And then t times 4 is just going to be 4t. There's no need to have a denominator because these all canceled and made 1's on the bottom. So 4t is equal to, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going too quick. 4t, there's an addition sign right here, so that would be plus 6, which is left over, equals 22. And then we subtract 6 from both sides, so 4t is going to be equal to 16, and then my t value is going to come out to 4. And it would be a great idea to pop that back in and check to see if our work is correct. Okay, same thing here, but you need to look at this right here, this x squared minus 9 in factored form. That should help you. So that is a difference of squares. Immediately want to think about that. X plus 3x minus 3. Well, there's an x plus 3 here, and there's an x minus 3 here. The LCD here would be the entire thing x plus 3 times x minus 3. So I'm going to do the back part first. I'm going to multiply this by x plus 3 times x minus 3. And the great thing we can see here is they're entirely going to cancel out with each other. So all that's left on the right side is going to be 18. Now I'm showing you that side first because that's the easier side, the more simple side to see. No denominator. This became the x plus 3x minus 3. Now over here, we're going to multiply x plus 3 times x minus 3 to this entire first fraction. Well, the x plus 3 will cancel with the x plus 3. So now what do we have left right there? We really just have x minus 3 times 3. So I'm going to write it as 3 times x minus 3. And then we have the plus sign, and we're going to have to multiply this middle one by x plus 3, x minus 3. And what happens is the x minus 3's cancel, and we have in the middle 3 times x plus 3. And now you have an equation, yes, with distribution, but there are no fractions. So that's going to become 3x minus 9 when you distribute, plus 3x plus 9 when you distribute, equals 18. Very careful here, the 3x's do not cancel because they're actually combining to give you 6x. The 9 and the negative 9 do cancel because you combine and get 0. So 6x equals 18. And you get an x value of 3. Now I really want you to be clear here is that is the answer to this problem. That is exactly how you would do this problem. That is the answer. But there's a side note on this one. Very careful. Technically, remember that domain thing? We're not allowed to have values that would actually, so we're saying x is 3, right? We can't have values that when we plug them back in, would create 0 in the denominator. So since if we take 3 and we put it in there, 3 minus 3 would be 0, and that's something that we're not allowed to have. So the technical answer to this problem would be no solution, no real solution. But just so you know, this whole process that led us to 3 was great. If that 3 didn't cause this issue, that would be the answer. I don't want to confuse you with that. All right, I'm going to have to go to class, so I'm going to have to put the rest of these on a third video, and I will see you back for a third video.